Origins of Betsy Braddock. British beauty Elizabeth Braddock is older twin sister of Captain Britain, a mutant, former fashion model, and charter pilot. She is a long-standing member of the X-Men, leader of Excalibur, and founder of the reformed Captain Britain Corps, multiversal alternate versions of herself. Elizabeth Braddock's father, James Braddock Sr., used to live in a different dimension. He was sent to Earth to create the ultimate protector, Captain Britain. He ended up having twins, Elizabeth and Brian. Betsy and her twin brothers' lives were anything but normal. Betsy was born and raised in Great Britain in a small town called Malden, Essex. Psylocke is one of the few Marvel characters that was actually given a birth date. She was born a bit after midnight on April 23, 1956. Since comics characters never age, or age very slowly, the year of her birth varies. Her parents died when she and her brother were in their late teens or early 20s. Brian began pursuing physics as a major during college, while Betsy decided to become a charter pilot. Brian would eventually become Captain Britain. Betsy initially possessed precognitive powers, and later developed telepathic abilities as a consequence of being born a mutant. Betsy Braddock has been through many changes over the years. Starting in a supporting role with Captain Britain, although she did stand in for him briefly, her move to US Marvel Comics made her a key member of the 1980s X-Men. Psylocke differed from many X-Men as she was willing to kill enemies. Her character was portrayed as resilient, as shown in her classic confrontation with Sabretooth, but physically weak, resulting in her wearing armor for a time. Her aspirations to be a warrior were fulfilled during the Acts of Vengeance story arc when she became a ninja, although Chris Claremont has been quoted as saying that the transformation as he saw it was a physical magical one, rather than a body swap as established after his departure from writing X-Men comics. After the swap, Psylocke's personality changed, becoming much more mysterious and cold, but this was revealed to be Quanon's personality influencing her. She returned to her normal self after Quanon died of the legacy virus, and her mind was clearer. Her first serious brush with death saw her acquire new powers from the Crimson Dawn, where she gained a mysterious red tattoo over her left eye and new shadow-bending powers. However, the Crimson Dawn was slowly wiping away Psylocke's personality, making her much more cold and distant. Psylocke later battled the Shadow King and locked him in her mind, which meant she could no longer use her telepathy. After this, during training with Jean Grey, Psylocke's telepathy got switched with Jean's telekinesis powers. Her actual death in Extreme X-Men 2 2001 and subsequent return in Uncanny X-Men 455 brought her back with a combination of the two powers, her telekinesis augmenting her physical fighting skills. For a time she was placed with the reality-hopping Exiles, but has since returned to her classic role as a member of the X-Men. She was also part of the new Uncanny X-Force, a secret team of mutants led by Wolverine, formed to preemptively kill threats to mutant kind. Every member of the team has been manipulated in some way, with Psylocke acting as the moral compass of the group. Psylocke is willing to kill but has her boundaries, shown when it came to the decision of killing the child Apocalypse. Sabretooth had been living in the mansion pretending to be mentally handicapped and subsequently attacked Boomer. Psylocke, in an attempt to save Boomer, battled Sabretooth. Although Psylocke was now a master martial artist, Sabretooth's raw strength was too much for her. In a desperate attempt to beat him, she stabbed him in the head with her psychic knife. However, due to being stabbed in the head already by Wolverine, he lost part of his brain, so he was immune to the psychic attacks from Psylocke. Sabretooth then proceeded to brutally beat Psylocke to near death. In a desperate attempt to save her life, Angel, Wolverine, and Doctor Strange went to the Crimson Dawn to retrieve a magical healing liquid. They found it and used it on Psylocke, however there was a side effect. It left a red dagger tattoo on Psylocke's left eye. This gave her the ability to hide and teleport through shadows. The tattoo also made her personality colder, which put a strain on her relationship with Angel. Her new powers and cold personality shook the team, with even Quicksilver commenting how he thought he found it difficult emotionally connecting to people. During their time away from the team, Psylocke and Archangel encountered Maggot. Sensing a dark presence within him, Psylocke mistook him for being evil and attacked him. Maggot instinctively fought back but was defeated by the two. Psylocke feels compelled to teleport Maggot and herself in an unknown location, eager to solve the living enigma that Maggot is. Archangel and Maggot's techno-organic slugs follow along and they are all drawn in the Antarctica Citadel. There, Eric the Red Magneto in disguise kidnaps the team and makes them participate in a mock trial for Gambit, where his participation in the mutant massacre is revealed. When a demon named Kuragari took over the Crimson Dawn, he demanded a debt be paid for the healing liquid they used for Psylocke. He wanted to corrupt Psylocke and make her his queen. However, in order for Psylocke to be freed, Angel gave part of his essence to Kuragari. Once Psylocke was freed from Kuragari, the two of them defeated the demon. After this incident, Angel and Psylocke retired from the X-Men. Later, along with many other women in Wolverine's life, Psylocke was kidnapped and brainwashed by the Viper into attacking Wolverine and Jubilee. Psylocke proved to be one of the greatest threats amongst the women as Wolverine and Jubilee couldn't escape her psychic detecting and martial arts skills, however the women were freed from Viper's influence. Also, when Wolverine was brainwashed by Apocalypse into the death persona, Psylocke, Archangel, and others attempted to help him. To help find where Wolverine was, Betsy forced herself into using Cerebro, even though there was a risk the Shadow King would escape. Whilst using Cerebro, the Shadow King began to lure Betsy into freeing him, but before it was too late, Warren used their psychic connection to stop her and save her from herself, telling her he'd always be there to save her. After this, Psylocke and Angel then helped the X-Men defeat Apocalypse and his forces. When Jean tried to help Psylocke deal with the Shadow King, the two ended up switching powers. So Psylocke's telepathy was added to Phoenix's telepathy, and Psylocke gained telekinesis. Psylocke then returned to active duty on the X-Men with Angel, but due to family troubles, he was only a reserve member whilst she remained on the active roster. During her time back on the Time, she battled such threats as the Goth and the Neo. During a well-earned break, the team were attacked by Streif and two Prime Sentinels under his control. Surprisingly, Streif was defeated by Betsy. Streif swore revenge on her for humiliating him. One night during dinner with Warren, the pair were attacked by the Twisted Sisters, who were hired by an unknown individual to target and kill one of the two. The couple defeated them and assumed it was Warren who was being targeted. However, from a distance, an unknown telepath watched and revealed his intentions were to murder Betsy. The person's identity was never revealed, but he was suspected to be Streif. She also participated in the intergalactic maximum security. Almost immediately after his joining the team, there was some romantic tension between Neil Shara and Betsy. Their attraction developed to such degree that they did not even care to hide their flirtation in front of Warren, which resulted in a breakup with Angel. Powers. Psylocke has gone through different types of powers during her lifetime, and she has lost her original powers, gained new powers, and improved old powers. Original power set. Psychic knife. This was all of her telepathic powers focused into her hand. She called this weapon the focused totality of her telepathic might. With the knife, Psylocke could excite the pain receptors in her opponents, and while not actually damaging tissue, the knife could cause her victims to become stunned, or even killed depending on the amount of power she used. When stabbed in the head of an enemy or a friend, the knife allowed Psylocke to read the thoughts of her opponent and in some cases become connected to them. Martial arts. Psylocke also gained much of Quanon's knowledge, became a master in martial arts and ninjutsu. Using her newfound fighting skills, the brainwashed Psylocke briefly became Lady Mandarin, the Mandarin's head assassin. Her changed body affected her telepathic powers as well. Her telepathy was halved until Revanche died, giving full use of telepathy to one mind-body, and she was not seen using her psychoblast, usually opting instead to use force. Crimson Dawn. Psylocke gained new abilities when she used the Crimson Dawn's healing liquid. It gave her the red dagger tattoo on her left eye and allowed her to hide and teleport through shadows. During a fight with the Shadow King, she appeared to have been killed on the astral plane, but the Crimson Dawn allowed her to come back in a shadow-like astral form. She gained the ability to hide her allies in shadows as well. Psylocke lost the ability to use her telepathy in order to keep the Shadow King imprisoned. She focused all her telepathy to keep him contained. When Jean tried to help her, it caused Jean to give Psylocke telekinesis. Gained abilities included Shadow Teleportation, Shadow Stealth, Shadow Astral Form. Telekinesis gained from Phoenix. Psychic Katana. However, she later lost the use of her telepathy. Since she had trapped the Shadow King, if she used her telepathy again it would also free the Shadow King once more. Telepathy after imprisoning the Shadow King. Astral Form. When Psylocke enters the astral plane she can take on any appearance she wants. After her Asian transformation, her astral form was a toned-down version of her Lady Mandarin outfit. Later, after her Crimson Dawn transformation, Psylocke had a shadow astral form, something she used to her advantage during her battle with the Shadow King. After she was resurrected, it's unknown what shape her astral form takes, but it could be anything her imagination can stretch to. In a recent battle with the Shadow King, while on a mission with Uncanny X-Force, Psylocke's astral form took on the appearance of her Lady Mandarin armor. Equipment. Captain Britain's uniform. As Captain Britain, Braddock wears a special magical uniform that provides her several abilities. The uniform is used by all members of the Captain Britain Corps and it acts as a beacon and a battery for the mystic energies of Otherworld. Braddock can cast the uniform only when she is in possession of either the Amulet of Power currently destroyed or the Starlight Sword. Braddock's first Captain Britain uniform had been originally worn by the corpsman Captain Britain. Flight. Captain Britain has the ability to self-propel herself through the air. Superhuman strength. Wearing a Captain Britain uniform, Braddock acquires increased strength. The limits of her strength are not assessed and remain unrevealed. As an example of her augmented strength, she was once able to destroy firearms with her bare hands. Superhuman durability. As Captain Britain, it seems that Braddock manifests enhanced durability. She was able to jump from the top of the Braddock lighthouse, falling several meters to the ground with no injuries. Assuming she manifests similar abilities her brother did when wearing Captain Britain's uniform, it might be assumed this is due to the uniform emitting a surrounding force field over her body. Starlight Sword. To enter the Otherworld conquest, as one of the sword-bearers of Krakow, Braddock tricked Saturn into forging the Starlight Sword, a replacement for the Amulet of Right as the conduit of her Captain Britain's powers. The Starlight Sword was crafted from a piece of the Starlight Citadel, made of an unknown and weightless material. The wielder of the sword steps into the role of a champion of the Otherworld. Skills. Psylocke is an extremely skilled martial artist, but the fighting art that she uses has never been revealed. Her skills and technique in martial arts is shown to be even more advanced than an average hand ninja, a Crimson Dawn undercloak, and even surpasses that of a ninja master. Psylocke has also received additional training from the Age of Apocalypse version of Sabretooth and an alternative reality version of Ogun that vastly developed her skills in this